Hey guys, Evans with Z111 here today bringing you a video on Dragon's Dogma Online. Now, Dragon's Dogma is a game, one of my favourite games on the previous generation of consoles, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And Dragon's Dogma, I just thought it was fantastic. And Dragon's Dogma Online, unfortunately it only got a Japanese release, but as you can see, I'm currently playing it, and it's a lengthy process to try and get this working, but I've created a character, a level 6 hunter, and I've played the game for a fair amount now. I'll hop onto World 13, as that's the server with the most English players, basically. But the game itself, honestly, there have been so many improvements to it that it's been fantastic. Graphically, it's pretty much the same, but gameplay-wise, they've added loads. It still feels a lot like Dragon's Dogma, but if you don't know, it's a MMO version of Dragon's Dogma, so you're playing with loads of other people. Basically, they've added multiplayer, because one of the things everyone criticised about Dragon's Dogma is it doesn't have multiplayer, and it seems like the sort of game that would be great for multiplayer, so now they've kind of taken it a bit too far and made it a massively multiplayer online game with hundreds of players per server. So I've just loaded in, and this is the White Dragon Temple, which is essentially the city area where you're going to get your shops, your storage, your class change, your inn, and your quest board and your hubs and everything, even your rift stones, which you can use to teleport and recruit pawns. So I'm struggling to get in the menu here. It appears to have... one moment. There we go. Okay, there can be server problems because obviously you do have to play on a Japanese server, but you can see the game looks fantastic, and it looks like Dragon's Dogma while somehow having translated into an MMO. As you can see, the hotbars at the bottom and all your skills in the bottom right, the chat box in the bottom left. I would show you the town and everything, but honestly that would take ages, so I'm going to head out into the fields and show you a bit of the gameplay itself. Right, so this is the first area, the Hidel Plains, and as I said, I'll say this as a quick disclaimer at the beginning, I'm only level 6, so whilst I've passed most of the tutorials and stuff, you're not going to be getting any sort of high level gameplay or anything like that. You've got your good old enemies like the goblins here, and the combat itself feels very much like Dragon's Dogma. You can release arrows, you can actually see your damage numbers, which is nice, but these are only level 1 goblins, so they're going to die fairly quickly. But it feels like a Dragon's Dogma game, and that's the first thing I was worried about. I was worried that maybe they would, seeing as a lot of games turn into MMOs and it doesn't feel like the games, example Final Fantasy and the Elder Scrolls, this still feels like Dragon's Dogma, just with the fact it's now online and you play with other people and you have skills and level up. I'd say the most it affects it is the game feels a lot more grindy, and that I don't know, I might get fed up with it eventually. As of right now, I'm playing Dragon's Dogma, it feels great, I'm so happy to be doing it. Like, even, you get all your good old skills, like the threefold arrow, which will fire 3 of these, and you can get puncture darts. The stamina is still a pain in the ass, which it always was in Dragon's Dogma games, but I suppose that's the way you stop people spamming abilities. Playing it on PC, it feels great. Like, the controls actually feel good with keyboard and mouse. I was not expecting that. I always thought Dragon's Dogma worked best with a controller, and I couldn't really see how it was going to work with a keyboard and mouse, but honestly, as soon as you get used to it, it's fine. You double tap in a direction to sprint, you space to jump, you press E to cling on. It's fairly intuitive, and you can see all your moves at the bottom right if you forget. Like, you kind of have to do a combination of shift and control with left click and right click, and also if I scroll on mouse wheel, it will change stance and cast the explosive arrow. So you do get used to it, honestly. It might be a struggle at the beginning, but after that it's fine. You may notice I'm playing as a hunter, and you actually have an amount of arrows which you need to reload. If you get it in the sweet spot there, then you start by firing 3 arrows, so it's like a little bonus. They've tried to combine skill into it, because obviously making it into an MMO balance is a huge issue. You don't have daggers as a hunter, which is a shame. All you can really do is kick like that, which is basically a way to distance yourself from enemies and make sure you can fire from a distance like this. I am just killing level 1 goblins right now, which is the most exciting thing to watch. They've still got all the good old huge enemies like cyclops and ogres and griffins and everything like that, but I feel like the pacing of the game is going to be much more dragged out than in actual Dragon's Dogma itself, because they have had to make it an MMO. They've had to make sure you get easy sort of fodder enemies at the beginning, and then as you progress the enemies get harder and bigger and everything like that. They've added a big progression curve like so. As you can see, the goblins are getting pretty stronger now as we're further out, and that's the way it works. It's kind of in zones. It's weird. It is a lot like Dragon's Dogma, but it's weird just how well they've made it into an MMO. It's like, it's got so many of those MMO traits. And the ability to recruit pawns and everything is still there. That's fantastic. If they remove that, then frankly it wouldn't be it wouldn't be a Dragon's Dogma game. You've still got all your vocations. You can switch class as you want, and the way you get new skills is by playing as a class, and then you get job points which you can put into the class to buy new abilities and traits and everything like that. And honestly, I just wanted to do a video on this because I've done a Let's Play of Dragon's Dogma. It was my favourite Let's Play to record, and it was really popular too. Like, it's one of the most popular Let's Plays of Dragon's Dogma on YouTube, which was fantastic. I love the fact that I can say that. And the fact that Dragon's Dogma Online has come out, I'm not going to pass it up. One of my favourite games. I wanted to do a video on it, and I wanted to show you guys how it is, because there's not much English coverage of this game, because it is so hard to set up and everything. And honestly, I'm considering doing a guide, because my friend BB, or BlitzNae, created a guide of how to install it, and honestly I wouldn't be able to play it now if it wasn't for him. He's been incredibly helpful, and it is a complicated process, so I'd like to make a guide so that more people can experience the game, and it actually gets a community, because as it is right now, they're not really planning on a Western release. And as you may have noticed, it is in Japanese, but there is an English patch which you can download, which will, it will translate a few of the things, but not everything. But if you're familiar with MMOs and you know the basic layout and how to do things, then you're not going to struggle too much. But yeah, if you're a huge fan of Dragon's Dogma, honestly, this is not something you should pass up. You should probably, I don't know, give it a try. See if you enjoy it. If you kind of want to expose yourself to more Dragon's Dogma, then you should give it a try, because it is the sequel to Dragon's Dogma. It's a sequel we never really got. And hopefully a proper sequel will come out soon, but we're yet to see that. And you can see, a lot has been translated, it's just there's so much to translate, and you can rank up your area rank to progress through the areas, and eventually you can face bosses in those areas, which are special raid bosses, I guess, the equivalent of. They've added so much, honestly they have. They haven't just reskinned Dragon's Dogma and added some content and called it Dragon's Dogma Online. It's a completely new game with so much to it, and I think it is worth trying. It's worth the trouble of setting it up and downloading it and installing it and making the account and everything you have to go through. So if you're a fan of Dragon's Dogma, I definitely recommend this. If you want to see more videos, let me know. If not, then that's fine. If you want me to make a guide to let you know how you can play it, then again, I'm open to doing that. And yeah, just let me know what you think. I love the game. I'm gonna be trying to get to a high level and actually get through the Japanese language barrier, and hopefully I'll have a lot of fun with it. Until then, this is me, Evans with Z11. Please rating if you enjoyed the video, and this is me out. Peace.